Yeah, so I've had this song stuck in my head for the last 2 days. Lola by the Kinks just showed up yesterday, and I can't get rid of it. Keeps rolling around in my head. It's a great song, but when that hook gets in your head, man, what's that? I missed my cue? Well, it's been a long time since I've done that. No. Keep rolling. Keep rolling. We're unedited, unfiltered, uninhibited, unhinged, and drinking Uncola. So I think we're good. I think we're good to go.
From Hollywood, welcome to the Rat's Ass Podcast with Mojo Elliott.
Right, here we go with another week full of fun and frolic.
Who gives a rat's ass?
From the Mojo studio on Sunset and Vine, overlooking a sea of dirty, filthy, stinking crazies. It is time to embark on another action-packed adventure.
Let's do it.
Here's what's on tap on the wrap. 10 cents in a bag of nuts will get you my opinion on Iran. Mr. Wonderful hands Mamdani his ass. The governor steps on his dong again. And I'll tell you about the most disgusting and horrifying ad now playing on TV. Maybe you've seen it. And brace yourself for more Praise Be to Whitey. Another round of head trauma's on the way. We're going to play It Sounds Dirty, But It's Not, plus our usual lunacy and loose behavior, including the Angry American. And I saw it on the X. That's what's happening today on the Rat's Ass Podcast for Monday, April 20th. I do appreciate you lending me your ears. Now, in 2 weeks, Mojo's Have a Good Time at Get Out Alive tour begins in San Diego. You can check out all the tour dates on the blog at ratsasspodcast.com. You know, I turned this over to a travel agent, and they got back to me on Friday, and they said, Mojo, a bazillion frequent flyer miles doesn't go as far as it used to. So we've had to make a few adjustments to the tour, cancel a few things going back east, but we're still going to hit 14 cities over the next 2.5 months. Most of the tour dates are here in the west, southwest, but it's all locked in stone now. Check out the dates at ratsasspodcast.com on the blog. I've also called an audible on Radio Wars. You know, I've gone up against 17 of the top-rated rock stations in America, and I went 17-0. So why continue? Clearly, you find me the best rock programmer in America. I'm satisfied. No, seriously. At this point, I feel like every week I'm just stroking my damn ego, and it's really not who I am. So we're going to go back to putting 2 rock stations up against each other, the highest-rated rockers in each market. We've got WDVE in Pittsburgh versus KLOS Los Angeles this week, out of the gate. And the twist on this one is if a station wins a week, they continue until they lose. But you can check it out on the blog, play it the same way. You get to pick who the better radio station is. ratsasspodcast.com and play Radio Wars with us. All right, you're going to find this hard to believe, but I am capable of doing some stupid stuff once in a while. I know you're going, what? You? Really? Saturday, I went to the grocery store to pick up a bottle of Fireball, a nice big glass bottle of Fireball. Yeah, I needed the juice. Checking out at the grocery, and the grocer asked me, hey, do you need a bag? And I said, nah, no bag for me. I've only got the Fireball, a pack of Orbit gum, and a box of small garbage bags, right? I just didn't want to pay the 10 cents per bag fee. So I get to my car, I reach into my pocket to grab my key fob, and what do? I don't drop the garbage bags. I drop the bottle of Fireball, the $20 bottle of Fireball. Shatters all over the parking lot. All because I didn't want to give Gavin Newsom his 10-cent paper bag fee. So it cost me $40 plus having to clean up the mess in the parking lot. All because I didn't want to pay 10 cents for that effing bag fee. Yeah, pretty stupid, huh? And you can bet your sweet ass I looked up that Fireball in the parking lot, too.
Loser.
No, I'm kidding as far as you know, though. Let's get into the wrap today. You know, President Trump is really starting to piss me off over this Iran conflict. I mean, I wish he'd stop screwing around and just end these Iranian bastards. I mean, to hell with the diplomacy part of it, okay? Just these jagoffs, they're not interested in diplomacy. All they live for is Allah and praise be to Allah. They don't care. They're happy to go meet Allah. Okay? They don't want diplomacy. It's that or they're trying to survive until November when their allies in the Democratic Party could win back the Congress and provide them with the billions of our tax dollars to start rebuilding nukes as they sit there and shout death to America to us for another 47 years. You know, but Trump started this. He started this. Now he needs to finish it, and not with a worthless signed piece of paper. Do you feel me on that one? Who's with me on that one? Knock wood. All right, the rich elites who always seem to vote Democrat are pissing on their shoes over New York shitty Mayor Mamdani's proposed tax on wealthy people who have seldom used second homes in the Big Crapple. Yeah, now I have to admit, I do agree with Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary on a lot of things, especially this one. He says what Mamdani doesn't understand is even though these residents are unoccupied in most cases, they're investment properties, the owner is still paying property taxes. He's paying maintenance, which supports employees, and he puts no burden on city services whatsoever. But he still wants to tax them. Because why? The Democrats need money, and they only get it through taxation. The one statement you'll never hear a tax and spend Democrat say, I think we need to cut spending. You're never going to hear it unless it's to defund the police, which is a political statement more than anything else. But and that makes about as much sense as sticking your dick in a deep fryer boiling with hot oil, too, by the way. Did you hear about the latest shenanigans California slumlord Governor Gavin Newsom pulled? He wrote a book called Young Man in a Hurry and tried to dupe everybody into thinking he's not the dumbass he's perceived to be. When the book was released, his political action committee spent $1.5 million buying back copies at, I imagine at a discounted rate, but it was to push the book up the New York Times bestseller list. Again, it's all about smoke and mirrors. Okay, but he gave these books away as speaking engagements. But believe it or not, though, I got to be upfront with you. This happens more often than you'd think. For an example, when an artist releases a new piece of music, especially if they're rolling in dough, they'll buy the first 500,000 to 1 million downloads, just marketing budget. And it makes the fans think, oh, everybody's buying this album. I need to get it too. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Again, it's bullshit designed to dupe unknowing and unwise people. But it works. Now, it's estimated overall Newsom's book only sold about 100,000 copies. That's it. So America's not really interested in this jagoff, but the Democrats, they're going to try and jam him down our throats in 2028. All right, have you seen this commercial on TV for eczema where they show this diseased hand up close and this guy's scratching it over and over and over again for like 20, 30 seconds? It's all he does is dig, dig, dig. God bless. Oh, it's disgusting. I don't know if I can finish this story or not. I got the visual in my head. But I saw it for the first time yesterday while I was enjoying a nice hot bowl of beef stew, watching the ball game, had little goldfish on top. The crackers, not the real fish. And suddenly this ad pops on TV, and it's a big screen TV, and I got so damn grossed out by it. I threw out my stew, including the bowl. Yeah, on a big screen, it felt like that person's hand, their disgusting, diseased hand, was inside my bowl. That's what I pictured in my head. So a note to the producers of this ad, you guys can go suck a big box of dicks, man. I mean, that kind of advertising is uncalled for. Really is. Those of us who don't suffer from skin disease don't need to see that crap. We don't need to see it close up either. Just a nice ad. We get it. You got eczema, you want to clear it up? Fine. We don't need to see the hand as big as a frickin' boat on the TV, digging and scratching away. And here's the thing. I have no idea who the ad was for. None. So it defeats the whole purpose of the ad, right? But I'll tell you what, when I found out who the ad was for, they're getting a bill for my stew and the bowl, rat bastards. All right, as you know, the non-whites in America like to claim white people didn't do shit. So I'm making it my business to offer up a few things white people created on every episode until we've exhausted them all, on a little feature that we like to call Praise Be to Whitey. We've hit you with 16 so far. So listen up. Here are 4 more things that Whitey invented that you didn't, but you have no problem taking advantage of. How about satellites? Yeah, all those TV channels that you get, the internet that you're on constantly. Yeah, Whitey did that for you. Do you wear eyeglasses, contact lenses? You can thank Whitey for that. Have you had LASIK surgery? Well, you can thank Dr. Golam Pyman, a white man, for it. Now, I know there are some of you who hate hearing this, but it bears being repeating again. Where would you be if it wasn't for Whitey?
Living in a van down by the river.
That's right, and don't you forget it. All right, let's see what's twisting the angry American's nutsack today. This is Tim Kramer.
Not sure if you saw, but Obama's Presidential Library is opening soon in Chicago. You'll be able to take the entire family to see everything that is Obama. Well, as long as you can afford to. $30 a head to get in. But here's the kicker. Better have your ID on you, because to get into the Presidential Library in Chicago, you need an ID. Yeah, it is harder to get into the Presidential Library in Chicago than it is to vote in Chicago.
Kind of funny how that's working in this country, isn't it? All right, before I get rolling here, Alexa, are you going to cue me in or what?
If it wasn't for sports, he wouldn't wear shorts or a jockstrap either. Here's Mojo Elliott with his spin on sports on the Wrap.
Yeah, that was worth the wait. All right, before I get rolling here, I want to turn you on to an NBA documentary about the Lakers legend, Jerry West. It's on Amazon Prime, called The Logo. Do me a favor, watch it, and give me your feedback. I don't want to taint it by telling you more about it. The NBA and NHL playoffs are underway. I'm paying attention to all the games, but my real interest is solely on how the Lakers and Pens are doing. Outside of the Pens losing at home to Philly, there have been no real surprise losses yet in either sport. But we're only one game in, too. So we're just getting started. The big event this week is the NFL Draft on Thursday in Pittsburgh. It's always amazed me how much importance is placed on the draft, especially when it comes to rebuilding rosters. I really like experience more than I do the rooks coming in, unless you get a first rounder, I guess. But have you ever wondered the percentage of players drafted who actually make it to the opening day roster? I actually did some digging on this. Yeah, so let me shed some light on this for you since I took the time to do it. First rounders, 97 to 99% are on the opening day roster. Round 2 and 3, 75 to 80%. Round 4 and 5, 50 to 60%. Round 6 and 7, 30 to 40%. Undrafted free agents, about 5 to 10%. Make it to the NFL. Opening day. So for all this talk about the NFL draft after the third round, all this talk about, you find some bargains out there. It's, it's low-hanging fruit as far as I'm concerned. So the odds are very low that you're going to find a nice piece, like you're going to find Tom Brady. You're going to find another one of them in the 6th, 7th round. So I really don't give a rat's jockeyas about those players. You can trade them for all I care. And that is my spin on sports today on The Wrap.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
All right, the name of the game today is, it sounds dirty, but it's not. I'm going to give you 3 clues, and you have to tell me what I'm describing. I was made for rubbing. I'm good for those who like it rough. I can work your wood good. Sounds dirty, but it's not. I was made for rubbing. I'm good for those who like it rough. I can work your wood good. All right, chew on that for a bit. We'll have the answer coming up.
It's time for some loose behavior on the Rat's Ass Podcast.
Yes, it is. Time to find out what is up on the Rat's Ass Podcast X feed on I Saw It on the X. Oh, golly gee posted this. What is the worst thing a woman has ever done to you? And I pulled through all of these different responses. I picked out 3 that were really unbelievable. Chad Berry said, after a girl I had been dating for a year moved in with me, I foolishly co-signed for a car loan for her. About 6 weeks later, she moved out and moved away. Never saw her again. I got stuck paying for the loan because I didn't want bad marks on my credit score. Yeah, I know. Bad marks on the credit score. That's tough. But you got to figure what? 4.5 years, Chad paid that damn car loan for her. That's nasty. Manny O said, I came home early from a business trip. All this is always the story when you come home early. Never come home early from a business trip. Said he caught his girlfriend getting it on with her ex-boyfriend. God, that happens all the time. Well, not all the time, but it happens more often than it should. Let's just say, Manny said, let's just say he now walks with a severe limp, and I have no idea where she is. Sounds like Manny took care of business on that one, though. Chase Cosmera said, I lived with this chick for 3 years, and things were going great till I lost my job. After I went through all of my savings to keep our heads above water, after about 6 months, she split because I hadn't found another job paying what I was making yet. Another common tale. Oh, there was a running theme. Easy for me to say, hang on. $20 bottle of Fireball. I'm going to take advantage of it right now. That does go good with 7-Up too, by the way. I don't know if you've tried it or not, but it's good. All right. But there is a running theme through all the comments I read when it comes to women these days. It's a little shocking. little shocking. I don't think this was around a lot when I was up and coming, when I was in my prime. But I'll tell you this, I think it might be time to tell you guys about a rule that we practiced during my single years. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe not. It's called the 3 Fs. I'm going to clean these up for you, though. But the rule is, you find them, you fornicate with them, and you forget them. That's what you do.
Oh, you're going straight to hell for that one.
And trust me, guys, that's how you're going to know when you find the right one. Or at least one until the right one comes along. All right, but there you have it. What's next, Fleabag? Let's do it. Are we getting into the cheese?
Hey, heads up. Here comes your celebrity cheese.
Yes, we are. All right, actor Patrick Muldoon, who had roles on Starship Troopers, Melrose Place, and the soap Days of Our Lives, passed away of a heart attack over the weekend. Muldoon apparently went to take a shower, and when he was taking too long, his girlfriend went to check on him and found him lying on the floor, dead of a heart attack. Paramedics showed up. They were unable to revive him. Patrick was only 57 years old. Coachella is history for another year after Weekend 2 wrapped up over the weekend. Last night, as a matter of fact, on Sunday. There was no sensational gossip to speak of from this weekend. Amazing, huh? Fans were treated to Justin Bieber singing along a little duet with SZA. And the Biebs also serenaded Billie Eilish on stolen land, I imagine. Wedding bells will be ringing soon for Donald Trump Jr. and Bettina Anderson. The couple announced they are planning to say their I do's within the next few months. It's highly unlikely their wedding will take place at the White House, though. And please allow me to nip this one in the bud before it starts to be a rumor. It won't be on Epstein's Island either, okay? The honeymoon is still up in the air, though. I can confirm, and I'm happy to confirm, that the bride technically should not wear white.
That's just about enough of that.
All right, you know what that means. She's had some outside "Who's your daddy" action before Donnie Jr. Yes. All right, the latest from the Tiger Woods camp is he wants to return to golf when his rehab is up. Now, that's going to be a few more weeks, but so far he hasn't given up on the idea of driving at all. But based on Tiger's history, I think you'll agree. When he leaves rehab, let's hope they convince him the only driving he should be doing is on the fairway. Agreed? And that is a normal slice of celebrity cheese for you.
Who gives a rat's ass?
Rat's Ass Podcast. Email from our Gmail.
All right, you can send your questions, comments, and observations to my producer. What's your name again? Fleabag, Rat's Ass Podcast at gmail.com, and anything goes. The more outrageous and salacious, the better. And it is impossible to offend me, so bring it all on. Carlos C., Denver, Colorado. During your ghost stories last week, you said when a woman ghosts a man after a long-distance relationship, there is a 70-75% chance she's moved on with someone else. Don't you think that percentage is high? Well, this was an AI report, and what AI does is gather information on thousands of long-distance relationships and arrives at a conclusion. So this happens more often than not. The thing it mentioned that I didn't mention on the podcast was, though, is that when someone moves on like this, the new person provides a safe off-ramp so that she can move on from the previous relationship. Kind of tough to do cold turkey, so you have a little help there. Give her a little off-ramp to say, okay, I think I can do this on my own. Bottom line, it's a rebound situation. Probably won't last. Probably won't last at all. All right, Melissa R., Laredo, Texas. After you talked about ghosting at work, I turned my boss onto your podcast because he's a serial ghoster. Do you think he'll get the hint? I hope he does, but if he's an idiot, probably not. Still, that guy should be fired, man. I mean, how do you manage people and not support your staff? I mean, it is beyond my comprehension, and I hear about this all the time. About bosses who just come in, shut their door, want nothing to do with their staff. I don't get it. I really don't get it. No, part of a boss's job is to motivate. You can't do that if you have a closed-door policy. Ah, well, I digress. Chuck B., Norman, Oklahoma said, dude, I love to tell about how you called that one program director for 75 days in a row, got no reply, then you were able to burn him 15 years later. I would have done the same thing. Well, I'll tell you this. The greatest compliment I ever received from my mentors was that I did not suffer fools. Just wouldn't do it. Although today I'm probably softer than I used to be. Rob K., Bowling Green, Kentucky, said, okay, music savant, I want you to settle a bet for me. Who was the bigger band in the 70s, Pink Floyd or Led Zeppelin? God, I love both bands. I love Zeppelin more, but I would say if you base it on pure album sales, Pink Floyd, because, you know, The Wall, Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, big selling albums. But if you want to base it on which band inspired more musicians, I got to go with Led Zeppelin. That's your winner. So it just really depends what the, what are you looking for here? Most sold albums or the band that was more influential? I like influential myself. All right, Linda Z from Libsyn, Ohio, has a dating dilemma.
Well, isn't that special?
She says, I've been dating 2 guys. Both are handsome, successful, excellent in the sack, but I feel like the time is coming to where I need to select one. Was the easiest way to make my decision. Marathon sex, baby. That's what it's all about. Marathon sex. That's how you decide. Whoever can bump and grind you the longest wins access to your woobus forever.
Oh, you're going straight to hell for that one.
I know they've got a bed made for me right there, so why not just ensure that I end up there in Hades?
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
All right, we're playing It Sounds Dirty, but It's Not. I gave you 3 clues to tell me what I was describing. Here they are again. And that song's still in my head. Lola. Yes, it is. I was made for rubbing. I'm good for those who like it rough. I can work your wood good. Sounds dirty, but it's not. But what is it? Did you figure it out? If you said sandpaper.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, congratulations, you got it right. But if you missed it, go see a doctor about your head trauma and get well soon. All right, I got a split. I found a place that will examine my head for $4 a shot. So off we go. But first, is this real or is this riffraff? Scientists say the Earth has lost 50% of its wildlife over the past 40 years. Alexa, is this real or is it riffraff?
You might find this hard to believe, but it's true.
Why so many so fast?
That's for me to know and you to find out, Buster.
But that's why I have you, isn't it?
Oh, for Pete's sake, would you please do something for yourself for a change?
Why in the hell would I want to do that?
Because Alexa might be feeling frisky enough to give you some nookie.
Alexa, you know what happens when you pull my middle leg, right? Mm-hmm. Give it a good yank, baby. You're a liar. And your wires are on fire. That's right, man. Jesus.
Get the fuck out.
All right, welcome to Rat Nation. Roberto Martinez of Santa Fe, New Mexico, Lisa McHenry of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Eddie Kingman in Winchester, Virginia, and Tyler Moore in Westminster, California. Oh, Westminster. Welcome, Tyler. And to listeners around the world in Vancouver, Canada, Liverpool, England, Sydney, and Perth, Australia. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Now's your chance to be one of the few and the loud. Join Rat Nation at ratsasspodcast.com. Membership does have its rewards, you know.
All right, that's it for this episode of the Rat's Ass Podcast. Go to ratsasspodcast.com to visit our hub and listen to previous episodes. You can read the blog. It is loaded with hot topicality, including the new Radio Wars. Watch Rat's Ass, Rock TV, join the mischief at Rat Nation, and connect with us on the socials. We'll do this again on Thursday, April 23rd, draft day in the NFL. Take care of each other, and thanks for stopping by. The Rat's Ass Podcast, in association with the Oz Podcast Group.
The conversation continues between podcasts on X and ratsasspodcast.com. ratsasspodcast.com.